Hey guys, this is going to be a special KyushoCast from Italy. We will simulcast it tomorrow. What? So, we're filming this in November, but you're seeing it now. We're going to work on, or in this particular class, there's going to be 3 sections, about 10 minutes each, where Gianluca's going to do some boxing in Kyusho. I'm going to do my take on that, and John's going to do his take on that. So he's going to go, Gianluca's going to go first, and I apologize in advance for his English. He doesn't want to speak English. We're forcing him to do it.
Here we go. Okay.
You use me or not?
So we start to work with some basic coordination, and I want to pay attention to your weight and the way to move. Okay. From the basic position, we start to move back, not back, left and right, but I want pay attention to the hips and where the weight goes. It is left, right, and the body move. So when I have the weight here, I'm ready for punch in this way. When I have the weight here, I'm ready to punch in this way. So the first drill, it is this. I move, and when I feel the weight, I want to generate the power. So here, I keep moving. Now I pay attention to the right side. So I'm here, and keep moving. I can do both and feel the weight. Okay, now we move a little bit more 45 degrees, but the feeling that you have to feel is the weight and the hips that can generate power. When I go here, this is ready for push my power. So, right, keep moving, other side. This is the best drill. Now, come on.
I don't understand.
They will see. Okay, don't care. We can do this drill. Okay. Put your hand here. Okay. I will do left, right, here, and you touch my head. Okay. So really 1, 2, out. Okay. So 1, 2, out. And so I'm ready with the weight for general power. The important thing is feel the coordination. Here, 1, 2, now I'm ready for go outside. And now I can go back here. We work on spring 21 in the middle, from here to here, is here. If you only press, it is okay, but it works better when you make a twist. Yes,
Force multiply.
yes, okay. If I do only pressing, it is, but if I do this, it's better. So I want this direction. So, the drill, there. Okay, this is the first drill.
It's 4 times here.
That's fine. It's not finished. Okay, now we can go to change the pressure point. We can go to it here. We don't it, but there are 3 points here. 1, 2, and 3. You can hit with the hook punch. Okay. They need to be straight through the air. So the same drill is we are here. Okay. I want my coordination. Go outside. I can keep the elbow if I want. I need there. So same drill. Okay, now I can take other point. Mental nerve, conception versus 24. What I want with the same coordination. When I'm outside, now my weight is on the right, so it will be this point, this punch. But when I go there, this is ready for come back. Now it is what can hit both hands. So we are here. I can do here. Pay attention to the weight and the coordination. Okay. And then we can do another point. More to take. We have this point that going less than 18, but I don't want this one because it's a good point, but it's hard to read because it's inside. This is another point here that is stomach seven. Okay, through and up. It's very powerful. Hitting it with the no, but the uppercut. Yeah. So pay attention, no need because it's very good. The same thing, I go outside, I have my weight here, my power, and I go up. Okay. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
If you go for the speak English for the entire time.
Now, 2 hours. Speak the time. Now, we do the same movement for take some shot. For example, if I put him on the wall and start to this is not a reaction. Okay? And we go this way. So you can see. Boom. Okay, sure, I can move outside of the power. If you come here, I can go here for don't take out the power. But if I am here, I don't have too many possibilities to move. So I want only make my
Wait.
yes weight here. So this end now is ready like before for go outside. So the next drill you can do against the wall, but also here for the camera. Come here, go down. When I tie the button, I use my weight. Go. And I stop the power. This end is important, don't go down, keep in protection, because when I do this, you can punch, don't have to stop. Okay, so I have been ready. So another time. Okay, from here we have the same one of before, what we like. Okay, so the drill can be from here, you push them, push and start to punch. When I ready, I stop. Okay, for me, I can do or I can at the same time. Something to try. Okay?
No more.
More? Okay.
One more.
Okay, we can do.
One more? Okay, one more. Yes, one more.
Okay. There are another point here. It is plain.
Okay, no more.
17. Okay, behind the
Capazzolo.
yes, the side of the capital.
Side of the nipple.
45 degrees up. There are no muscle here, so it's very good point.
Ooh.
If you are here,
Then,
it's the same. Again, go, don't worry. Look inside. I'm ready.
he said, don't worry.
I'm ready. You have the coordination for make your whole technique with the point. Sorry. The important thing is always the weapon, I hit with the knuckle, okay, the point, in this case, spring strengthening, and the force multiplier that can be generated in many ways. One is working like a box with the weight, so I have here, and now I can put out all the power on the point with the right weapon. Okay. Good. Thank you.
There we go. Hands up.
All right, I do 2 different things. One is a drill. Gianluca was just doing a boxing drill from a fighting stance. I'm going to do it from a neutral stance here, from a straddle stance. And the reason I'm doing it from the straddle stance is from here, you're fighting one side forward, one side back, so you have your jab and your cross. A principle that I like to use is to have your dominant side teach your non-dominant side how to do the technique. So I take a neutral stance to help my right hand teach my left hand the proper mechanics. Come straight across the body, straight across the body. Equal, equal. Cross, cross. Cross with the right, cross with the left. Back and forth. And then as you're doing this, you start working in uppercuts and hooks. Hook, hook. Hook, hook. Uppercut, uppercut. Uppercut, uppercut, hook, hook, cross, cross. And then you can mix in any other strokes you're familiar with. If you try to do this rhythmically, like a metronome, and keep the same pattern, you won't do it. Within 30 seconds to a minute, you'll find that you're mixing the crosses, the uppercuts, the hooks, the vertical uppercuts. That's a good thing, because then you're starting to build combinations. By doing it from a neutral stance, you're developing symmetry, both sides of the body, ambidextrous, which is very important in a fight. So that's the first part of the drill. As you start getting better at that, we're going to start adding covering up. So the basic boxing covering up from here, and to the phone, and to the phone. Now, when this one goes to answer the phone, hand to the ear, elbow should be pointing forward, not out. Elbows pointing forward. The opposite hand, if it's not punching, the opposite hand is covering up across the ribs. Ribs. So we can add that into the drill. Cross, cross. Cross, cross. Cover up, 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 uppercut. Cross. Cover up. Hook, cover up, uppercut, cover up, cross. Every one of these movements, the cross, the hook, and uppercut, can be done with the elbow just as easily, same body mechanics. Cross, cross, elbow, elbow. Cross, cross, uppercut, uppercut, elbow, elbow. So now we mix hands, elbows, hands, cover up as you're doing the drill. The pattern is not important. The important thing is to allow your body to naturally build. We have a truck passing outside. To naturally build up combinations that work for you, and over time they'll become more and more intuitive. So, boxing, cover up, right? Hands up, cover up, hand across the ribs. Cover up, hand across the ribs. Hand to the ear, elbow forward. Hand to the opposite ear, elbow forward. Across the ribs. Cover up, cover up, cover up, cover up. Coming across the body and coming this way, there's a lot of similarity. If you use sticks, arnis, there's a lot of similarity between boxing technique and the way you use the sticks. I don't have a pair of sticks here with me, but I'm going to work on some bare-handed applications of this. So one of the reasons for having the elbow forward is, of course, in competition, it would be illegal to use your elbows in a street fight, perfectly legal. Gentlemen, can I borrow you for a sec? So I'm just going to throw it. Okay. Cover up. Now from here, he's got this one here. Hands across the ribs. Hand goes to the ribs. Cover up. Instead of just going to the ribs defensively to cover, use this, take his hand with you. Elbows facing straight forward. Elbow can go any Kyusho point you're interested in. If your opponent is a lot taller than you, you're going to go below the chest, center of the chest, carotid artery, clavicle. If your opponent is of a similar height, any of the points on the face, mental nerve, stomach under the cheek, side of the nose, triple warmer on the corner of the eye, any of these will work. Punch. Here. Now you'll notice that I missed. That's fine. My hand is already in this position. 1, 2. Economy of motion. No wasted motion. No wasted motion. Attack and defend at the same time. Defend and attack at the same time. Defend, attack at the same time. If you make a mistake, the other principle is to co-opt or use emotion in multiple ways. So in the same way that I can use this defensively by covering up, I can use it offensively by driving in. In the same way that I can use this defensively by coming across, I can use it offensively by making him smack himself in the mental nerve with his own hand, and then moving in. Let's do coming across this way. Haymaker, here, deflect. Haymaker, right? Now in boxing, you'd just be covering this way with the glove. In a street fight, you're going to use knuckles. You're going to use forearm. So when he throws the haymaker, deflect, forearm, center of the bicep, center of the forearm, break it right down the nerves in the arm. Here, here. Now look what is in his way. Here, elbow. Here, elbow. Here, elbow. This is not, we can certainly use this. I was doing that in the drill, but you can also use this in a thrusting manner, getting your body weight behind it, and all you're really doing is shuffling forward with your feet. The elbows across the body, shuffling forward with the feet. Every step of the way, we want to use the same motion, both defensively and offensively, one motion. The fewer things you have to remember, the more likely you are to remember them when you're under stress. Deflect, move in. Defend and attack at the same time. Deflect, move in. Principle of two-way action. Deflect, defend, attack at the same time. One hand goes out, one hand comes back. One hand comes back, the other hand comes out. Now this one's going to come back, and this one's going to go out. Jab, cross, switch. They change positions. Cover up, they're changing positions. Cover up, cover up, cover up, cover up. Opposite directions. Every step of the way, this can be a deflection, this can be a counterattack, or this can be a grapple to add to the other hand going out. How much time is that? 2 more minutes? So, when you can practice this with a partner, but it's also good to practice this on your own. The more you do it on your own, if you work with a partner, a lot of times you'll end up making more mistakes than you do working on your own. Because when you're working on your own, you're not thinking so much about what your opponent is doing. You have in your mind what a shadowboxing opponent is doing, and you're reacting to that. It's a very useful trick to use to work against an imaginary opponent. So when you're doing these drills, don't just concentrate on what you're doing. Concentrate on what an imaginary opponent is doing, and defending against what an imaginary opponent is doing, as well as concentrating on what your attack is. And as you're doing it every step of the way, your crosses with the fist, with the elbow, cover up, with the fist, with the forearm, with the elbow. And every step of the way, covering up and attacking. Covering up, attacking. Covering up, attacking, attacking. Cover, attack, attack. I'm already ready to cover. And the elbow comes in. Build up your own combinations as you're doing this. And it's often useful to do this in front of a mirror so that you can watch your own body posture and look for mistakes. But I highly recommend doing this with a partner and without a partner. It's very important to do without a partner because you tend to get into flow better in your head because you're more relaxed when there isn't anybody watching you and you're not worried about whether or not you're going to get hit by an opponent. It's a very useful trick for learning to build flow into your techniques and building up those combinations, building them into muscle memory.
Okay, now let's look at another boxing combination, or one that we've already been doing. Your hands are up here, all you're doing. Just a simple jet cross. Hands coming in here. Notice I'm stepping forward, my hands going out first, whether it's open or closed, coming here, and then drawing back to where you're starting. Part of that is because of the drill, so you don't have to keep moving around, depending on how much space you have. And if I keep moving, I'll be off camera. So, the other thing is that it'll fit into the self-defense situation that you're going to see in a second. So, first, we're just doing this. 1, 2, coming back. Here. And the other thing is, and I think you were talking about it by replacing the hands?
Yeah.
Okay. So, here, as this is coming here, your hand's coming back. Out, this hand's staying up, out, and coming back, but it shoots back. It comes back twice as fast as it goes out, so that you can use it the same way John Luca was using it in protecting and coming up and grabbing the head. But all of this stuff fits together, okay? So now, what we're going to do, let's do it front row. So from here, as he goes in, I can practice just doing this and hitting first, parrying and hitting, or I can look at this, don't even move, just stand there. Sort of like you were doing, don't put your hands up, it's sort of like we were doing with that, you were just going here. You can aim for target striking, so mentally you can be thinking striking. If I'm going to parry and then strike, his hand comes in, and then hit, or come in, shooting up to here to grab the head to pull, so I would be in this way, up, and then pull as I draw back to break his balance. And that's not the end of the technique, obviously, that's just the intermediate part, or the midway part of here, and then we go into a takedown, or whatever you want to add to it. It's really your entry. But now let's look at this in a different way, just attacking the arm. So what happens when his arm comes at me and I just parry it? His arm still starts to travel this way, and he's extended over here. So when this comes in, I'm going to parry and move this. I can strike into the body from over here. This hand now draws back, and I'm going to just twist my body a little bit, so I'm coming back to here in that ready position, but I'm doing an arm bar on him. But if his arm is here, stay straight. If his arm is straight like this, and I try to do my arm bar here or do my arm bar here, I can move him. But when he's overextended and off balance, it helps to amplify the situation. So what I want to do is obviously create this imbalance in him so that I can further exploit it. But he's coming to me. I don't have to go to him. I'm sort of meeting him halfway, but I'm allowing him that when he comes into here, is to go up balances. So even if I hit from here and then shoot back into my armbar, he's setting up the whole situation. He's running into my fist, the same way that when I was punching the Gianluca, and I came in, my body weight is, as my body was driving into him, it met his fist, coupled with the fact that he had good posture and everything else when he struck. It was not just him using the force multipliers, it was the combination of what he was doing with his body, and then what my body, that mass moving towards him and colliding with his fist. One of the things that Wally J talked about was to avoid head-on collision of forces. And in this case over here, we're avoiding. But his body is still moving this way, so when I come into here and then throw my hand in, I'm creating a collision of forces, but under my control. So I look at what he said, and I've amended it that I want to initially avoid head-on collision of forces, but I want to create that collision of forces when it's advantageous to me. Because it's not just, me. Okay, it doesn't just end over that statement. So, when he's coming in, we're going to hit and then drive right into here, and just that action of doing this. So now what I want you to look at is here. So if I'm doing this, and coming back, now I'm doing here, I'm doing the same motion this way, parry, strike, and then bring this hand back. So I'm trapping the arm to put him in that position where he's overextended, and I can take him down or whatever. Probably from there, I think it's pretty safe to say if I really cranked on it, I'd have a good hyperextended elbow. And if you've ever had, actually I did it to you a long time ago, but if you ever had a hyperextended elbow, it sucks. It's one of the worst things you can possibly have. It hurts to breathe. You just, we take for granted something like that. When we're in normal strength, we don't feel it, we move around. But as soon as you go like that, you start to move and you jump. Okay? So now, let's look at this same motion now with from a striking perspective. So as I come into here, I'm going to parry this and then strike right into heart 2. I can use this off a straight punch or almost like a hook, depending on how close he is to me. If we're here and I'm back here, I would punch straight. If I'm over here and I'm in this way, I would come in and hook into that. So I want to go right into the pericardium 2-point in the bicep. I want to come in and then hit, and I get that reaction right away. He yanks his arm back. So slow. Here, come back in this way. Come right into here. He pulls that back. I probably won't have a chance to hit him, because if I do that right, he jumps the opposite way. That foot goes back. That may be the end of the technique right there. Because look how far back he goes when they do that. I now have to run after him to go get him. Okay, now I look like the aggressor, and I sort of can't do that. I have to, let him run away. But it's just this, 1, 2, bang, coming into here. And it's that same thing. I still wouldn't just sit there and go like this and admire my work. I would come in, hit, and then just back up over here so I can see where he is, what he's done. If I have to follow up or if he doesn't move, then I can start moving in just like you were doing with John in the previous session. So, I think that's should about cover, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this thing from Italy, and just follow the bouncing ball when Gianluca's speaking English. Put the bouncing ball in. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks again. Safe journey.